Big Match 1983 by Yasmin Gunaratne. Let's read it once. Considerably a long poem, but now you can understand because you know the history. Glimpsing the headlines in the newspapers, tourists scuttle for cover, cancel their options on rooms with views of temple and holy mountain. Flashpoint in paradise, a racial pot boils over. And even the gone-away boy who had hoped to find lost roots, lost lovers, lost talents even, out among the palms, makes timely return giving thanks that Toronto is quite romantic enough for his purposes. Powerless this time to shelter or to share, we strive to be objective, try to trace the match that lit this sacrificial fire. The steps by which we reach this ravaged place. We talk of 48 and 46, of freedom and treacherous politics of language. See, the first sparks of this hate fan into flame in 1958, yet find no comfort in our neat solutions, no calm abstractions, no absolutions. The games, in the other hand, in any case, these fires ring factory and hovel and big match fever, player in high and fast, has both sides in its grip and promises busier scores than any at the oval. In a tall house, dim with old books and pictures, calm hands quit the clamoring telephone. It's a strange life we are leading here just now. Not a dull moment. No one can complain of boredom. That's for sure. Up all night keeping watch, and then as curfew ends and your brave lads dash out at dawn to start another day of fun and games and general jollity, I send Padmini and girls to neighbor's house. Who, me? Oh, I'm doing fine. I always was drinking man, you know, and nowadays I am stepping up my intake quite a bit. The general idea being that when those torches come within 50 feet of this house, don't you see, it won't be my books that go up first, but me. A pause. Then steady and every bit as clear as though we were neighbors, still as we had been in 58. Thanks, by the way, for ringing. There's nothing you can do to help us, but it's good to know some lines haven't been cut. Out of the Palmyra fences of Jaffna bristles 100 guns, fronts in the Peta, landmarks of our childhood, curl like old photographs in the flames. Blood on the khaki uniforms, 3 boys lie dying, a crowd looks silently the other way. Near the wheels of his smashed bicycle, at the corner of Duplication Road, a child dies dead and 2 policemen look the other way. As the stout man, sweating with fear, falls to his knees beneath a bow tree in a shower of sticks and stones, flung by his neighbor's hands. The joys of our childhood, friendship of our youth, ravaged by pieties and politics, screaming across our screens her agony, at last exposed, Sri Lanka burns alive. Yasmin Gunaratne. Considerably long poem. Now you can have a clear understanding about this racial violence against Tamils committed by handful number of singular racists. Now let's go to the first stanza. Now, in the first stanza, Yasmin Gunaratna refers to how people, common people, react to this racial violence, both Sinhalese and Tamils and even foreigners, when these violent attacks comes up. Ordinary people, common people are frightened to death. They try to save their lives by hiding. Even some foreigners, they run away. Foreigners who come to see this country, they also hide from these attacks in order to protect their lives. Even some Sri Lankans who live in Toronto. Toronto is a city of Canada, Canadian city, who live in Canada. They also cancel their visit to Sri Lanka because of this racial violence. Now let's read line by line. Glimpsing the headlines in the newspapers. Glimpsing simply means reading or noticing. Newspaper headlines. Now, newspapers of those days, they reported this event in big letters. We did not have smartphones or social media like today, WhatsApp or YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or anything of the sort. The only mass media was television, newspaper, and radio. Now, newspaper was very common among people. Glimpsing the headlines in the newspapers. Now, reading the headlines in the newspapers, tourists, foreigners, scuttle for cover. They run away for protection, scuttle. Cancel their options on rooms. They even cancel their bookings, reservations on rooms of the hotels. They also cancel their reservations or bookings in the hotels. Now, these rooms, from these rooms, they can see Holy Temple and Holy Mountains. Now, temple and holy mountain really means Buddhism. They are symbols. Buddhist symbols. Note it down. What is the idea? Peace, metta, karuna, mudita, compassion. No violence, non-violence. Mercy. Sympathy. They are the qualities of Buddhist temple and holy mountain. Holy mountain means Sripada. The same. Where we believe that Lord Buddha's footprint is Sripada. Now, from hotel rooms, these tourists can see half of the country. Therefore, they reserve these rooms to see the Sripada, to see some temples. Now, if a tourist visits Kandy, he selects a hotel, a room through which he can have a good view, including the Dalada Maliga, or Temple of the Tooth, and other beautiful scenes, and holy mountain even, right? Now they cancel these reservations and run for protection. Flashpoint in paradise. Now, this is how newspaper reports it. Flashpoint in paradise. Flashpoint. Flash means burning, fire. Paradise means Sri Lanka. It's a metaphor for Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lanka, this beautiful paradise, is in flashpoint, in burning point. Burning point. On fire, in other words. Racial pot. Racial pot is another metaphor for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is compared to a pot, and this pot has all types of people, all types of ethnicities, various ethnic groups, Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims, Burghers, and everything, like in a pot. Now this racial pot boiling over, you see how newspapers reported this gruesome, violent event. By reading these newspaper headings, ordinary people try to hide and save their lives because they are terribly frightened. They are frightened to death when they read these newspaper headings. And even the gone away boy means people who live in other countries, young men and women. They also cancel their routine visit. They also cancel their routine visit to Sri Lanka because of this attack. Who had hoped to find lost routes, why do they come to Sri Lanka? The Sri Lankans, young men and women who live in other countries, they come to Sri Lanka to look for their lost roots, their Sri Lankanness, to find out their Tamilness, Sinhalese-ness, to find out their traditions, to enjoy their culture. That is the idea of lost roots. Even lost lovers, they want to see their relatives, their friends in Sri Lanka. That's why they come to Sri Lanka. Now, if you have some relatives in foreign lands, after 2 or 4 years, they return to Sri Lanka to see the country and to meet the relatives and to enjoy Sri Lankan food and everything, climate and everything, because they love the country. Even these people, they cancel their visit to Sri Lanka because of this racial attack. Lost talents, even Sri Lankan talents. Now, Sri Lankans have their specific talents, skills. They also want to learn them. Cultural skills, traditional skills, talents. No other foreigners have. Out among the palms. Now, the palms, it's another symbol. Note it down, palms. Palms means coconut tree or palmyra tree. Now, in the south of Sri Lanka, you can see the coconut tree. In Jaffna, you can see palmyra tree. Both are palms. Now, they are symbolic of two races. Palmyra tree symbolizes Tamils. Coconut tree symbolizes Sinhalese. Now, both Sinhalese and Tamil young men and women, they cancel their visit to Sri Lanka out of fear. They make timely return. They return back to giving thanks that Toronto, they go back to Toronto. Toronto is a safe place. Toronto is a symbol for safety. Note it down. Now, in this stanza, we discussed, we found many symbols, religious symbols, political symbols, cultural symbols. Toronto. Toronto is symbolic of peace, unity, racial harmony, racial harmony. There are no racial conflicts in Canada, you know. Canada is one of the safest countries in the world to live. There are many types of races in Canada, but they live according to Canadian way, right? In Canada, there are so many kinds of races from the world, but there is one country, one law. That is the reason. That is why there is peace. One country, one law. Law is equal for everyone. Everyone has to respect the law. Everyone has to obey the law. Law is common to all Buddhists, all Christians, all Islamic people, all Hindus. Law is common, right? If you do something wrong, you are punished. They don't care whether you are a minister or you are a minister's son or you are president's relative or you are a high officer of the Sri Lankan government. They don't care. One country, one law. Therefore, that country is safe for everyone. Toronto, Canada, right, is quite romantic enough, good for his purposes, his ideas. They also cancel their visit to Sri Lanka and they try to find what they need in Toronto. Now, this is how Yasmin Gururatnam presents a general picture of the event, of the situation that influence or affect other people. Okay, that is the first answer. Right. Now let's write down comment. Okay. Write down Big Match 1983, Yasmin Gunaratna. Write down the topic, Big Match 1983, Yasmin Gunaratna. Write down the poet. The poet. Yasmin Gunaratna is a Sri Lankan poet now living in Australia. Full stop. The poem Big Match 1983, the poem Big Match 1983 is one of her experiences in which she discusses the nature of violent racial attack. Violent racial attack that came upon the Sri Lankan Tamils in 1983. In 1983. Write down next subtitle, the historical background. The historical background of the poem. Write down. Big Match 1983. Big Match 1983 is based on BASED, based on a racial attack, racial attack racial attack on the Tamils of Colombo. The nearest reason, next sentence, the nearest reason for this attack is some retaliation, retaliation, retaliation for killing some army personnel, in Jaffna by the Tamil terrorists. Tamil terrorists. Ordinary Sinhala is ordinary Sinhala is never took part in this attack only handful number of racists took part in this attack. Many Tamils were killed and their houses business places were looted, Looted, were looted and burned to ashes. Burned to ashes. Burned to ashes. It is this incident that Yasmin Gunaratna refers to as big match. Refers to as big match. Okay. Write down comment. Stanza 1. Put numbers. First stanza. Right. Comment. In the first stanza, in the first stanza, the poet presents how general public how general public how general public responds respond 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 how general public respond to the eruption of ERUPTIOA, the eruption of racial violence, racial violence. Full stop. The general public are frightened to death by reading the newspaper headings. Which manifests which manifests the horrible nature the horrible nature of this attack. Please quote, flashpoint in paradise, racial pot boils over. Go on writing. Reading these headings, reading these headings, the foreigners who are on visits, the foreigners who are on visits, cancel their reservations in hotels and run for protection. Run for protection. Even the Sri Lankans who live in foreign countries cancel their visits to Sri Lanka out of fear. Out of fear. Okay, that is the comment for this part. Now let's go to the second stanza. Right. Now poet refers to historical reasons to this conflict. Historical reasons in the second stanza. As I told you, 1948, 1956, and 1958 historical situations, events in which Tamils were attacked. Now poet says, powerless this time means this big match or Black July. This time we have no power to shelter, to protect. We cannot protect the Tamils or to share, to support this game. Now, ordinary people are very neutral. They cannot protect Tamils or they cannot support or help this attack. Therefore, they remain neutral. We strive means try, to be objective, neutral, objective, without supporting or taking part in this. Try to trace. We try to find. Trace means to find, look for the match, the fire. Match means a fire that started this sacrificial fire. Sacrificial fire means burning people to death. Burning people to death. Killing people. Sacrificial fire. Now, ordinary people, they try to look for the reason, historical reasons for this sacrificial fire. It means killing people, this racial attack. That is the idea of sacrificial fire. The steps. We even try to find out the steps, the roads. Steps means the roads, the ways by which we came. Reach means came to this ravaged place. Ravaged place means this inhuman situation. How we traveled, how we came to this inhuman situation, ravaged, brutal situation. We are thinking of it, the reasons. We have one reason. We talk of 48. One reason is 48. I told you, 1948, freedom. Freedom from the British government. In 48, Sinhala people received power, but not shared with Tamil politicians. That is one reason. Sinhala people got power from the British government, but that power was not devolved or shared by the Tamils. One reason. Then we find another reason. 56, I told you. What is 56 incident? Freedom and treacherous politics of language. Politics of language, I told you. Making Sinhala the state language, forgetting Tamil. Treacherous. Treacherous means unfriendly. Treacherous politics of unfair. Treacherous, unfair, unfriendly. Politics of unjust, politics of language. They could be the first sparks, first fire. Sparks means here, fire. They could be the first fire of this hate, this hatred. This hatred now fanned into. Fan means doubled or increased, developed into a flame, a big fire. Now he refers to 1983 July, big match. In 1958, in 58, I told you, it became another big fire in 58. Introduction of change of Sri Lanka name from Lanka into Sri Lanka. Change of name. Even Tamil opposed to this changing of the name of Sri Lanka because this is their country too, not ours. Not only the Sinhalese, but also the Tamils country, Muslims country. They must have equal rights and say, yet find no comfort. But still we have no comfort or relax. Given solutions, in our need solutions, we gave various solutions, answers to this problem, but no result. No calm abstractions, no peace. Calm abstraction means no peace. And even no absolution. We have no sorrow or repent. We do not worry about it. We are indifferent, no absolution. We don't care. right? The problem is still there without any solution, right? Write down the comment for second stanza. Write down. In the second stanza, the possible historical reasons, for this racial hatred, is discussed, by the poet. By the poet. She mentions that in the present conflict, the ordinary people keep away and remain neutral, N-E-U-T-R-A, remain neutral, She refers to some historical political decisions that laid, L-A-I-D, that laid the foundation for this racial hatred. She refers to 1948 political freedom and power political freedom and power that was not shared with the Tamils. Next, she mentions how how politics of language, how politics of language created an enmity, 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 hatred, enmity between Sinhalese and Tamils. Full stop. In 1956, in 1956, a political decision is taken to make Sinhala, the official language, official or FICIL, official language, within bracket, lingua franca, LINGUA, lingua franca, FRANCA, official language of the government. Of the government. Tamil is forgotten. Tamil is forgotten. Creating jealousy and hatred. Creating jealousy and hatred in the hearts of Tamils. Full stop. In 1958, another decision is taken to change the name of the country, from Lanka, highlight Lanka, into Sri Lanka. The Tamils opposed, opposed to this decision, but they were brutally, B-R-U-T-A-L-L, brutally oppressed. O-P-P-R-E-S-S-E-D, oppressed. The poet implies that they are the historical reasons which created an enmity, E-N-M-I-T, enmity between the two races. Two races. Okay, let's go to the third stanza. Third stanza. The games in other hands, in any case, the game means killing people, racial attack. In other hands, not in the cricketer's hands, but in the racist's hands. These fires, they are fire, burn, ring means burn factory. They are fire burn factories. Even hovel, small houses, places. Hovel means small houses, Tamil houses. like a big match fever, the poet says. This is like a big match. Now she uses this word for the first time, big match. Like big match fever, this racial attack, flaring high and fast, burning, flaring means spreading, burning and spreading very fast. And this game is played. Now, every game has both sides. Cricket team, now in a cricket match, one side is the player's side. The other side is the fielder's side. But in this big match, fielding and batting are done by the same people. Fielding and batting are done by the same people, the racists. That's why poet says, both sides. Now these people, racists, have the both sides of the game in his grip, in his hand, grip means hand. And they promise us, and they promise Decius scores, very strange marks. Scores means marks. Scores. Decius. Not the common scores of a cricket match. Now, in a cricket match, you know there are ones, fours, twos, sixes. But in this cricket match, big match, the scores are dizzier, common, uncommon, dizzier. They are different from the scores at the Oval Stadium, cricket stadium. Oval refers to cricket stadium. Now in this match, big match, the scores are quite different from the ordinary big match scores. Right. Write down comment. Third stanza. In the third stanza, the poet compares this racial attack, to a big match, played between, P-L-A-Y-E-D, played between two schools. Full stop. In a cricket match, there are two teams. There are two teams in fielding, F-I-E-L-D-I-N-G, in fielding and batting, B-A-T-T-I-N. In fielding and batting. The poet sarcastically mentions S-A-R-C-A-S-T-I-C-A-L-L-Y. The poet sarcastically mentions that in this big match of racism, in this big match of racism, in this big match of racism, Both sides are played. Both sides are played by the same team. Burning factories and houses. Burning factories and houses. Full stop. And the scores, SURES, and the scores of this big match are different from the scores of the Oval Stadium. Scores of the Oval Stadium. Full stop. The scores of this big match. The scores of this big match are the number of murdered people, MURDERED. The number of murdered people, comma, burnt houses, comma, looted property, LOOTED, looted property, looted means stolen, looted property, and even some rapings, RAPES, even some rapes. Even some rapes. Okay, that is the end of the comment on that stanza. Now we are to discuss these three stanzas. Now, in these stanzas, poet speaks to a Tamil person, one of her friends. Now, there is a telephone conversation between the poet and this friend. She gives a telephone call to her friend to know his situation as a friend. And you find that person's answer here in these three stanzas. Okay. We read it in our next session. You may be much tired now after reading and studying a long poem. Much tired. Please read the note and the poem again before you forget things.